Hey guys, welcome back to Willow Creek Homestead. My name is Kenzie if you guys are new around here. And in today's video, we are gonna go over all of the chick essentials and I'm gonna show you the hatching process and all of the babies. So I left work early today because today marks 21 days since I filled our incubator and I have chicks pipping upstairs. So I didn't really have time to change or do a whole lot. I'm still in my work clothes, so apologies that I don't look like as presentable for this video, but we needed to come down here and get all of the chick essentials and like the brooder and everything set up to house our new babies. So you guys ask me all the time what the chick setup is for me personally. Now, a chick brooder is just anything that you can use to house your chicks in. Personally, I prefer these dog pop-ups. I will link this one down below. This is the extra large. You can get small, you can get medium, large, and extra large. I just find that these are very, very easy to clean. The bottom is slick, and this entire top zips up, so you don't have to worry about anyone flying out. It also has side accesses on the sides of the pop-up, which makes it really easy to get food and water back and forth. But you can make a brooder out of a tote. You could make a brooder out of wood, whatever the case may be. Totally optional and up to you. Now, we are hatching babies in the wintertime. So I just want to make note here that the setup for hatching chicks in the wintertime is a little bit differently than doing it in the springtime. So when you have chicks in the wintertime, the winter season is roughly about 3 months-ish long. And I believe it's anywhere from 10 to 12 months until chicks will develop their downing feathers that keep them really, really warm. So the problem with hatching them out in the wintertime is oftentimes people do not have the space to accommodate them inside for that long. So if you have the space and you have a warm environment to accommodate winter chicks, that's fantastic. If not, I would recommend that you wait until the spring. Now, with our brooder, we also need to have some kind of substrate in here that will catch any waste and absorb water, food, anything that may get thrown down. So I just use regular pine bedding. You do not want to use cedar bedding. Cedar is very, very bad for chickens' respiratory systems. So I'm gonna go ahead and get a bunch of the pine bedding in here. You can use fine, you could use like thicker pieces. You could use hemp bedding, whatever you want. This is personally what I prefer, but there are several different options. And you guys are probably like, this is a really big brooder. I know it is, but we have 18 chicks hatching. So this will be plenty of space for them for quite some time. My basement is also heated down here, so they are going to be in the pantry room for just a little while until we get the garage finished and get it heated within the next couple of weeks. So this space is just temporary. If you have ever hatched out chicks before, you know that like the dust and the smell really does accumulate. But the pantry room is the only room that has drywall in it that I can put a baby gate in front of the door so that my dogs don't come down here. So this isn't their permanent location, just for the next couple weeks they will be down here, and it is heated, plus we will be putting a heat plate in here as well. One thing I also want to mention is I scrubbed this and the water and the food containers and all of those things. Just make sure that you're going that extra mile to be like really, really hygienic. Scrub all of the stuff off from last year's babies. And then you will need to provide some kind of supplemental heat source. Now you can use a lamp. I personally prefer a heat plate. And these legs down here on the bottom, they do move in and out. So you can adjust this as the chick grows. Now it is recommended to keep them at about 95 degrees for the heat plate and then the first week of life. And then as they continue to grow, you can drop it by 5 degrees. Now with this one, you can't control the temperature, but you can raise it so that they are not directly beside the heat plate itself, which I really like. And this can also slant this way, so like your chicks can move away from the heat or go closer to it if they would like to. In my opinion, these are just a little bit safer and much less of a fire hazard in comparison to some of the other available options. And it also comes with a plastic top because as your chicks get bigger, they will jump up on this. And this entire plastic piece comes off so that you can wash it, which I really, really like about these as well. So I'm gonna go ahead and adjust the footings so that our babies can be closer to the heat for right now. And then, like I said, as they get bigger, we will raise this up. Okay, so here is their heat plate all ready to go. And then I'm just running it through the side zipper right here. I'm gonna zip that back up. And then we are gonna just plug this right into the extension cord that I have down here so that this can start heating up and getting ready for our babies. And you'll know that it's on because it has a light that kicks on right here. So this we just leave alone and let get up to temperature. And having chicks is really easy, you guys. You don't really need a whole lot. You don't have to go out and buy anything either. You can make anything into a brooder. I've seen a lot of people get really, really creative with it. So it does not take much. It's actually very, very simple. So the next thing that you will need is a food container. You can find these at Tractor Supply, Baumgars, you know, just any of your farm stores. They're relatively cheap. I think this was like $3. And then this was probably like $3 as well for the water. So for the feed, I personally do non-medicated, but you can do medicated and non-medicated. I was told that the medicated feed is just like one more step of something that they need to run through their body. So I do non-medicated feed, and any type of chick starter works just fine. So this is the bag that I picked up. And then I also always go ahead and pick up some probiotic and electrolyte packets. You don't need a lot of them. I do maybe one packet per week in their drinking water for the first like 3 weeks. And then after that, I don't give them anything else. And this is totally optional. You do not have to do this at all. It's just if you would like to, you can. So for now, I'm just gonna go ahead and put their water and their food just right in here. I'm not gonna fill that up right now because the eggs in the incubator need to hatch and then sit in there for, I believe it's 24 hours to kind of dry them off, get fluffy, and then we'll see what eggs did not hatch. And then once everybody is good to go, then we will get them set up in here. But we are set up, locked and loaded, ready to go. So that was my biggest thing for today, is I just wanted to get this set up, get all of my equipment down here. And now we wait for all of the babies to hatch, and I will meet you guys back whenever we go to bring them down here.
I tried to capture as much of this as I possibly could. These guys hatched actually incredibly quickly. Every single time that I was like, oh, I have a second, I would come back and they would be progressed so much. But it is so incredibly fun watching the process. So basically, your chicks will start pipping. You will notice little cracks and bumps forming on the eggs, and that is their little beaks on the inside working to get out. And the entire process can take up to 24 hours. So if you notice that your birds are not progressing, don't worry. They take naps in between. It's a long, tiring process for the little babies. But you guys, this was just incredible. Me and my daughter stayed up basically all night just watching these guys hatch and coming back and checking on who we had the next morning. And here was a cute little Silky taking a snooze on the glass. This is one of the little black ones that we have downstairs. It's insane how mobile they are, like just for first hatching. You know what I mean? They actually get around quite nicely. So everybody just stayed in the incubator for 24 hours and got all dried off. And then once your babies are all dried off and, fluffed up, then they can go down into the brooder.
So since posting that video, the babies started hatching shortly after I got their brooder set up. It has been 5 days since Thanksgiving, which is their official hatch date. So we had a batch of Thanksgiving babies. So that is so incredibly exciting. What a blessing to wake up to on Thanksgiving morning. But we have several little ones down here that I have to introduce you guys to. I also want to think of Thanksgiving theme names. So if you guys have any good ones, please be sure to let me know. I just think that that would be so fun because they are Thanksgiving babies. So maybe we'll come up with some funny food dish names to name them after. But let me go ahead and introduce you to everyone. And then I'm going to go over just any like little tips and tricks and kind of the issues and things that I ran into so far, so on and so forth. But I know you guys are dying to see these little ones. You guys have been asking me about them, so let me introduce you to the newest editions of Willow Creek Homestead. Hi, babies. What are you guys doing? All of your aunties and uncles were so excited to see you. Say hello. So like I said, we have 15 in here out of the 22 that we started with. So I am considering that a win just because that was my first time using the incubator. So we did lose a couple along the way, but look at how precious. I have one in here with a little splint on, and I will go over that. But so far, so good. Everybody is so stinking cute and adorable, healthy, happy. It's been so fun having them already. Okay, so now I'm gonna start taking them out one by one and showing you. I'm gonna go over the breeds and I will insert pictures of what all of these are gonna look like full grown. There's a couple in here that I am very excited about. Some of these I have had previously, some of them I have not had. And then one breed specifically was the reason that I reached out to this breeder. Now, if you guys have been watching my previous videos, I am like disappointed that I was not able to hatch tank babies. My rooster passed away that I raised from a baby, and we got him probably like February 1st. So he was right around 8 or 9 months old. He passed away from sour crop this year, and I really wanted light Brahma chicks and crosses from my own flock, but that was not able to happen. So I'm still very happy that I was able to do winter babies this year. It just does kind of suck that I wasn't able to keep Tank's genetics alive in my flock. But eventually I do plan on getting another light Brahma rooster. But so let's go over the babies. So I'm gonna start with the baby that has given me a little bit of grief so far. So this is a blue-laced red Wyandotte, and this is a little girl. I will insert a picture of what she will look like full grown. This is the breed that I was the most excited about. So I started off, I believe, with 4 eggs of each breed, and I will go over like what we've lost and things so far. So 3 of my blue lace red Wyandottes pulled throughout the entire incubating and hatching process. Now this baby, whenever it was born, had splay leg. And what splay leg is it just means that their legs are splayed from side to side. And this one specifically had a splay leg on the right side. So at first it was not that bad, and she was able to get around just fine. But then as time progressed on, it was progressively getting worse. Now, if they can't walk, you will have to do some sort of casting, sticking them in a bottle or a mason jar, just as like a little bit of a physical therapy. Improvisation on their part is a great alternative. A cup, a mason jar, anything that can help keep their legs together is perfect unless they can't get to food and water on their own. So hers was getting significantly worse and she could not eat or drink. So I did go ahead and just put a little Band-Aid on her legs. And what you do is you just take both sides of the Band-Aids and you wrap it around each foot, and then you cut the other side of the Band-Aid and place it right here so that it's not sticky. And what this does is it forces her legs to be together. So on day 1, she could not walk at all. And now she is back in the little brooder with all of her siblings. Now, anybody that has chickens will know exactly what I'm talking about. Chickens did not get the memo that bullying is not okay in 2025. Okay, so if you have a sick chicken or a disabled chicken, it's best to separate them. So I did go ahead and make her own little brooder for a couple days. And look at how awesome she's doing. This one is going to be absolutely beautiful. I cannot wait to see what she looks like full grown. And she does not have a name yet. So anybody with any good ideas, let me know what you think. So this little gray one right here is a blue-laced red Wyandotte as well, but I believe he is a splash blue-laced red Wyandotte. And what a splash means is they have more gray and blue enlaced in their feathers. They're gorgeous. Now, I will be keeping one rooster out of this batch. And if he is a boy, which I think he is, I will be keeping him. Hey, you, tell them hello. It's okay. Blue-laced red Wyandotte splashes are beautiful, and this breeder in particular told me that that might be a option of one that we get. So I am hoping and praying that he is that, because if so, like I said, we will be keeping him. Okay, so this one is very, very chatty. He is 100% a boy. I can tell by his mannerisms and his wings. And I did a short on wing sexing. So go back and watch that. It's not 100%, but the longer you're around these guys, the more you are able to tell boy and girl. Some breeds are not as easy, but some are. And this one is definitely a boy. So I believe he is my 3rd red lace Wyandotte. Now, the breeder said that they can come out black and then develop colors later on. He is either a blue-laced red Wyandotte or he is a black copper Marron. But I have 5 that look like this, and I only had 4 black copper Marron eggs, so one of them has to be my last blue-laced red Wyandotte. I just don't know which one it is yet. But he is very, very chatty. Okay, so the next ones that we were able to hatch out was 3 silkies. So I ended up with 2 black ones. Aren't they precious? Look at how cute. Hi, babies. Now, silkies are the hardest chicken breed to determine gender on. So I will not know if these are boys or girls for quite some time. The way that I was able to determine sex with Hank and Floofy, my 2 silkies that I have now out in my flock, is Hank developed a very prominent bump on his nose, I would say probably around like 7-ish weeks. And that is supposed to be an indication of a boy. So that held true for us. So we will just look for that development on them as the weeks go on. But look at how precious. I've never had a black silky before. I have dark gray, light gray, and now we will have black. And then we have one more silky, and this is a light gray silky. Now, there's a difference. There's like a super light gray, a medium gray, and then a really, really dark gray. This color of gray was the same gray that Hank was whenever he was born. So this little baby will be the same coloring as my big rooster outside. He should be like a smoky gray color of some kind, or her. But look at how cute. I love the silkies. They're so precious. These are bantam breeds, so silkies are significantly smaller than your standard breeds. And there's not a thought in any of their heads. They are very, very derpy, but they are so stinking adorable. So then the next breed that I have is Barred Rocks. And these are just really, really good dual purpose breeds. Both of these are, oh, you know what? Actually, no, not both. I believe one is a girl and one is a boy. So this one over here is a girl. I can tell by her wings, and she's already starting to develop tail feathers. And this one over here is a little boy. Don't quote me on it, but if I had to bank on it, I probably would. But these guys are amazing egg layers. Like, my goodness, dive bomb. Oh, okay, one decided that he's not staying with us. Like I said, Barred Rocks are amazing egg layers, and I have never had a Barred Rock before. So very, very excited to introduce this breed into my flock. I know a lot of people that have had Barred Rocks over the years and really, really enjoy them. So I think these will be a great addition. But look at how precious. Say hello, everyone. You're not as crazy as your sibling. Yeah. Trying to film with baby chicks is not the easiest thing in the world, but I'm trying, guys. And then the next breed that we hatched out were black copper Marans. Now, I believe this is a little boy, but he is absolutely beautiful. This is the prettiest one out of the bunch, and go figure, I think it's a boy. But black copper Marans are amazing. I have one black copper Maran girl out in my flock currently. Her name is Emerald, and her eggs are the funnest eggs to go out there and get. They are kind of like the chocolatiers of the chicken world. They lay very, very dark brown eggs with spots, and they are absolutely beautiful. So we also have 3 of these little ones. Super excited to have more of them because, like I said, their eggs are just the funnest ones to go out there and get. And then lastly, we also got some Easter eggers. So Easter eggers are a colorful egg layer. I believe they can lay an olive color along with a light green color to a blue to kind of like a medium blue. So you get a variety of different colored eggs from them. I have one out in my flock already. Her name is Jane. She lays us our green eggs. So it'll be fun to see what colors these guys lay. But like I said, we have 3 more of these. So super, super fun. Love the colored egg layers. I mean, their temperaments and things, in my opinion, don't really, matter in comparison to a lot of other chicken breeds. It's just if you want to lay, or if you want to go out and grab multicolored eggs, these are an amazing option and breed to add to your flock. Oh, look at you being so good. Hi. I think this one's a girl. Hi, sweet baby. Oh, did you really just poop on me? Really? Okay, not sweet anymore. I did go ahead and take their heat plate out so I could show you them all without them hiding. So I think they were a little bit upset. Your guys' heat's up. It's back. I'm so sorry. So a lot of you guys have been asking me what's the plan with the babies. So here's the plan. All of the girls I will be keeping. I currently have 18 chickens out there. Obviously not all of these will be girls, but if half of them is, we will have right around 26 to 27 chickens outside, which is perfect because we eat a lot of eggs. We use a lot of eggs for cooking, and then I also sell eggs. Eggs is also a great way to give back to your animals. I will cook eggs and put it in my dog's food from time to time, along with giving it back to the chickens, composting the ones that have, spoiled or whatever the case. So having extra eggs, we always are very, very thankful to have that. And then let's talk about the boys. So on our homestead, we have not gotten to the point where we are growing and raising our own meat chickens. Now, I would love to be able to do that and put out a secondary coop and maybe one that's even, ability to be mobilized around for meat chickens. But the thing of it is, around here, it's very, very hard to find homes for roosters. And I want one bigger rooster to service my bigger girls. So I have 2 silky roosters right now. But obviously they are not going to be able to breed with like my Brahmas, my black copper Marans, my Easter eggers that are out there. it's just not going to work. So I want one big rooster to service my girls out there so that I can start hatching out my own babies. Now, the thing about heritage breeds is they are way more prone, in my opinion, to sicknesses and health conditions because these guys are bred to look pretty. And it really is that way. If you get online, you start ordering chicks, you see these, they're bred to be beautiful. They're not bred for health. So heritage breeds are awesome. I love them. I've always had them. But what I will say is my crosses out in my flock right now, the health and wellness of them supersedes any heritage breed that I have ever had. So my ultimate goal is to start breeding and doing my own crosses for health only in my flock. So like I said, I want one bigger rooster to be able to accommodate that need. And then the silkies, we will be crossing with my other silkies and my cochins out in the flock. The rest of the boys, though, however, I have one friend that wants one of the roosters out of this bunch. Whatever one she wants, she can take other than the one that I want to keep. And then the rest of them, we will likely be processing ourselves. Now, that's difficult for me to do. I'm just going to be flat out honest with you guys. And I know it's a little bit hypocritical to say that I would rather go buy my meat from a store. I was vegan for 4 years. I know that that sounds crazy to hear, but I was. I've always really, really loved animals, you guys. I have a soft spot for animals. I've grown up with animals my entire life. So making the switch as I've gotten older to rewire my brain to look at it from a completely different perspective is very, very difficult for me to do. But I want to do that for myself and for my family. I love being able to know that these boys have been provided an amazing life by me and that my family can benefit from the nourishment that they are able to provide. So that is the plan. As hard as it's going to be, I have to do it. If I want to be able to grow, or if I want to be able to raise my own meat on the homestead, I have to get over that and I have to be able to push forward and see the bigger picture. So that is the ultimate goal of all of these babies and kind of what the future plans are for each and every one of them. And then these babies will be in my pantry room until the end of today, and then I'm going to move them to a separate location in the basement. Everything in the rest of our basement is not drywalled, like I said in the beginning. So, you know, it's just stud, opening, stud. So I did go ahead and put up a bunch of gates and made 110% sure that my dog cannot get in here. You guys have probably met Knox on my channel a couple times. He's the sweetest boy, but he loves chicken nuggets. And he would love nothing more than to come down here and eat every single chicken that I have. He's already killed 2 of them, so I just am overly cautious when it comes to him being able to access my birds. So a lot of you guys were saying that the dust is going to accumulate in here so fast, and I agree. That's why I said this is very, very temporary. So they are getting out of here today and being moved to a separate area of the basement. We have the mini split being put in, I believe, in a week. So then the garage will completely be heated. It will be drywalled. Everything will be good to go for them out there. So then that will be their permanent location until the end of winter. And I just want to reiterate on the fact of having winter babies. If you are going to do this, it's definitely going to give you a head start on their ability to lay come springtime. Because with my babies, for instance, you know, whenever people start getting them shipped to them in March, my babies are already going to be 4 months old, you know, so you're able to jumpstart the laying process if you do this in the wintertime, but just know that you have to accommodate them inside in a warm climate for much, much longer than you would if you are going to do this in the springtime. But overall, for my first time using the Nurture Right 360 incubator, I would say that this is a win. Now, like I said, we started with 22, 15, so we lost 7 along the way. Unfortunately, during the incubation process and during the hatching process, I had 2 that pipped and then never hatched, and then I had 1 that hatched and had an umbilical hernia. I don't think that I can post a picture of that just because it is a little bit graphic, but you can Google it. It's basically where the umbilical cord and like the yolk sac and stuff is still attached to the navel of the chicken. And what this baby had was a huge gaping hole on its stomach. It was not able to move. It wasn't able to dry off during like the drying off period through the incubator. So unfortunately, my husband did have to cull one for me. But otherwise, I'm considering this a success, you guys. It's so fun. And like how amazing that we are able to bring life into this world on our kitchen counter. You know what I mean? Super fun for me and my daughter to do. I've never had this much success. I've tried these square incubators and they just didn't work right for me. So overall, I am very excited. I'm very happy, very grateful, very blessed. I cannot wait to show you all of the things that we plan to do with the babies. I can't wait to teach you guys. I can't wait to learn with you. So I just want to say thank you guys so much for watching. Look out for future videos because you guys are going to start seeing a lot of these babies on my channel. A lot more chicken content is coming your way. I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your week. Thank you guys so much for being here, and I will see you in next week's video. Bye, friends.